From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is U.S. Farm Report.
Welcome to U.S. Farm Report this pre-Thanksgiving Day weekend. I'm Tyne Morgan, and here's what's in store over the next 60 minutes. Sold a record-breaking $30,000 per acre land sale.
I wouldn't have bet we'd ever see a $30,000 sale this year either.
Just how high can these land values go? Russia signs off on a grain deal extension. Good news for world grain supplies, but why it put grain prices under pressure. The power of cover crops.
Because that's big in this dry environment.
The secret for a couple farmers to flipping their soils. And in John's world,
walking and ideas.
Now for the news. It was a big week for one of our biggest trading partners, Mexico, making its largest single-day purchase of U.S. corn ever. The country buying nearly 1.9 million metric tons, or 73.5 million bushels on Wednesday. Around 2/3 was for this marketing year, the other third for the next marketing year. That's when Mexico's GMO ban is expected to kick in. It's also purchased 9 million bushels on Tuesday. So far this month, Mexico has bought over 2.6 million metric tons of U.S. corn, which is 104.2 million bushels. So is it just coincidence that Mexico has been on a buying spree since the government announced their ban on GMO corn would start in 2024? Well, one market analyst tells us he doesn't think so, and he's skeptical about the ban.
Buy it before you ban it, I guess. I have a lot of questions, as do a lot of traders and analysts, regarding this potential ban of GMO import. I don't know how they're going to replace the 600 million bushels of corn that they buy from the United States in a given year. They have claimed that they have some sort of plan to do so through U.S. non-GMO growers and then corn that would be sourced elsewhere. I find it really, really hard to believe.
Vaklovic says his sources tell him the GMO ban is politically motivated and Mexico is using it for some sort of trade leverage. And a deal that's allowed grain shipments to move out of Ukraine is being extended. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was due to run out this weekend. The deal established a safe shipping corridor in the Black Sea and inspections to address Russian and Ukrainian concerns. The United Nations helped to broker the original agreement along with Turkey. The UN Secretary General saying he welcomed the extension.
I want to express my deep commitment and the commitment of the UN to do everything possible for the smooth implementation of this agreement in Istanbul by the Joint Coordination Center, and also to remove the remaining obstacles to the unimpeded exports of Russian food and fertilizers, essential to avoid a food crisis next year.
The UN reports more than 11 million tons of ag product has been moved from the region, adding up to more than 520 shipments. Also this week on the diplomatic front, President Biden met the president of China face-to-face for the first time since taking office. President Biden meeting Chinese leader Xi Jinping for long-awaited talks at the G20 summit in Bali. The two men, in their remarks, saying there was real value in meeting face-to-face. President Biden adding he hoped the relationship with Beijing would be one of fierce competition, not of conflict. Advisors to the White House saying the president raised issues on human rights, North Korea, and Russia, with both sides agreeing that using nuclear weapons was unacceptable. President Xi says the two sides should use history as a mirror to let it guide the future.
He was as straightforward as he has been with me in the past, and I think that we understand one another, which is the most important thing that can be done.
Commodities seeming to take less of an interest in the talks and more focused on rising COVID cases in China and what that will do to demand. That's along with word that China will increase pork imports in the coming months. Well, this coming Thursday, families will be gathering for Thanksgiving. And the American Farm Bureau Federation's annual Thanksgiving dinner survey shows people will be paying 20% more for the traditional meal. It reports a feast for 10 people will total just over $64. That's less than $6.50 per person. It represents a $10.74 increase from last year's average. Now, the centerpiece of most tables, the turkey, that's responsible for the biggest increase, up 21% this year. AFBF says the increase can be attributed to a slightly smaller flock this year, along with increased feeding costs. Now, stuffing, it's up a whopping 69%, along with pie crust and a half pint of whipping cream up 26%. The organization says inflation is slashing the purchasing power of consumers, along with supply chain issues and the war in Ukraine. No matter the cost, hopefully that meal is with your family and friends. All right, that's it for the news. A quick switch from summer-like weather to winter, with snow blanketing the upper Midwest and other areas. So how long does the chill last? We have a check of weather next.